Welcome to the World Collective Master Talk series. Today's guests are Fulvia Bacchi. She is the General Manager of UNIC and CEO of LINEAPELLE, International Leather Fair, CEO of the Institute of Quality Certification for Tanning Industries, and board member of the Italian Leather Institute of Naples. And Giacomo Zorzi, an executive at Concerie Italiane in managing the leather operations in the heart of Veneto. Today's discussion will be moderated by Karen Giberson. As president and CEO of the Accessories Council, a non-for-profit advocacy group, she represents a 50 billion plus industry with over 350 dynamic member companies in fashion, footwear, accessories, and jewelry. Beyond current members, Karen works with hundreds of brands, retailers, and licensees, and she supports industry executives. Today, they will be discussing leather, a sustainable future. Leather is a complicated topic, but the conversation is more complicated by the offer of synthetic alternatives currently in the market and their impact. They are here to discuss the future of the material and the business.
Hi, I'm Karen Giberson, and I am the president of the Accessories Council. We are a not-for-profit trade association headquartered in New York, but our members are from all over the world, and our products include just about every category but the clothes, including a lot of leather product, from shoes to bags, and I'm so excited to be in New York with our team from LINEAPELLE. Do you want to introduce yourselves? And I can't wait to learn more.
Thank you. My name is Fulvia Bacchi, and I am the CEO of LINEAPELLE and the General Director of Italian Tanning Association. Giacomo Zorzi.
I am the executive office in Veneto region, where exists the biggest district in leather sector in Italy, and I manage all the activity of the group in the district in Veneto region.
So I'd love to talk to you about the leather industry and what's changing. As the head of a trade association, oftentimes people will call me and say, I'm making vegan bags and they are sustainable. And we often tell them, well, they might be vegan, but you're using a petroleum-based material to make it, so it's certainly not sustainable and it's not biodegradable. And at the same time, we've heard a lot about, the leather industry, how terrible it is, that we're killing these animals and how caustic we are when we tan the goods. But I think when you peel the curtain back, you might find that that's not really the case. So maybe a little background is particularly on Italian leathers, who are really Italy leading the way on innovation.
I can say Italian leather industry is really a very important industry because they started to innovate, to be very sensitive to sustainability many years ago. I think we have been able to anticipate the matter of sustainability, and our industry now are really sustainable and responsible companies. Just to give you some idea, Italian tanneries are 1,000 with 18,000 workers. We have, as Giacomo said before, cluster districts in Veneto, in Tuscany, in Campania, and in Lombardia. And we work especially for fashion, for design, and we are really responsible, and every day our companies are studying how to save the planet.
Yeah. So what are they doing to save the planet? What innovations have come around, or things that have changed to make tanning a cleaner and greener process?
Well, the list of examples we could give to you is really very long. In terms of saving water to use, in terms of saving energy used, in terms of preferring energy from renewable resources, but these are only little examples of what they are doing. Mainly, the most important efforts are in the process. and in the final product. Innovating the process and innovating the final product, we have discovered that we are able to be really responsible and giving the world real responsible product. Just few examples. We are able to produce saving the half of water in some examples that is normally used to tan one single leather. This is very important. We have discovered that we are able to manage the chemical risk connected to this company, this industry, in a very effective way. We are able to produce leather without producing neither 1 gram of waste destined to the landfill. This is, on my side, on my technical side, absolutely fantastic. I don't know how many other tanneries are able to do that. The real secret of this success, of this capability to be very efficient, is mainly one word, and this word is district. And leather district do not exist in other countries. Leather district exists like this only in Italy, and the district is a reality where a good idea becomes a good idea for everybody in 1 second. And this is the real secret of our success and of our capability to be so efficient. Often also in the environmental aspect, but not only.
Mm-hmm. So I know that in the process, from a wet blue through, what are you doing to minimize the caustic chemicals? And
absolutely. There are some examples. The first good example I can give to you is that some tanneries now are able to reuse in only the tanning phase, which is the first phase of the tanning process, to reuse inside of the tannery the same wastewater that comes out from that phase. So no stressing the water resources, and no stressing the water pollution in the output. Mm-hmm. This is a very good goal, but this is just an example. But this happens. It is a reality now. And we are able to give to all wastes, mainly in the first phase of the process, to give a new life, using them to produce something that is new, something that is completely disconnected to the leather sector, which is, for example, the production of fertilizers and of biostimulants. Mm-hmm. This is really, really interesting. And in Italy exists the company leader worldwide producing these kind of products. It's a good way to play the game of circularity in an effective way.
And how does LINEAPELLE work with the tanneries to establish best practices? And do you have a rating system? Do you police? How does that work?
First of all, LINEAPELLE is one of the most important exhibitions around the world, and we are very severe in the selection of our exhibitors. And as LINEAPELLE, we work together with our companies to improve their approach to sustainability. Another aspect very important, in my opinion, is traceability of our raw materials, because we have to know where our raw material comes from and how animals are treated, because for us this is very important, and even our clients are very sensitive to this matter. And this is another aspect of sustainability. So LINEAPELLE is working with the most important university, with a lot of research centers around the world, to give to our exhibitors the source of learning how to improve their approach to sustainability.
I'm wondering what other innovations are happening, like what's new in the world of leather. If I walk around the show, what am I going to find that is different, and what new options are out there for us?
In terms of product, or in terms of processes, or in terms of services, because we have innovation in all of these areas.
Well, of course I'm going to want to know about innovation in all of those areas. So why don't we start with product, and then...
Starting with product probably is finding new solution to tan leather, reducing in a very sensitive way the environmental impact, mainly regarding wastewater and production of wastes, because these are the two biggest aspects regarding leather processing. But in terms of services, probably the most important is the certification related to traceability. Why it is important? Because for clients, do not knowing nothing about where the leather comes from, it means a risk. And good tanneries has to demonstrate to be good manager of their risk, so they make good service to the client. In this way, we have more than 10 years ago defined a standard that deals with traceability of leather. So the capability to demonstrate and to certificate, because certification is a fundamental part of this play, to guarantee the knowledge of the tannery regarding where the leather comes from. In terms of, for example, risk of animal welfare standards, and in terms of deforestation standards. These are two aspects where clients are very interested in, because they do not want to run a risk like this, and we have to manage them. And clients have learned that Italian tanners are really able to manage them in a very effective way, in a very efficient way, and probably the each certification standard is the much spread in the world, looking at the highest part of the market.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yes, please.
Sustainability is important, but in my opinion, there is no sustainability without beauty and creativity. And as you can see here at the fair, our leathers are wonderful, are soft, are very colored, and it is important because they are beauty, but they are also responsible and sustainable.
Yeah. Italian leather obviously has a reputation for being the finest in the world, and you talked about animal welfare, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you want fine leather, you need to take good care of your animal.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, it's not going to have beautiful leather. So, it makes me wonder, as we think about sustainability and choosing materials that are sustainable, how do you feel leather fits into that?
Well,
hierarchy?
you are perfect right. If you don't treat animals in a good way, you don't have good leather. That is very easy. But this is just a part of the solution, because even if from Italian tanneries clients receive the best leather, it means that not only in terms of defects of finished leather, but in terms of chemical risk, for example, for the tannery workers and for the clients. We have to give guarantees that the client won't have any problems in using Italian leather. This is absolutely important.
Yeah.
And that's why we are trying to find new solutions to treat leather, to tan leather, and to finish leather using chemicals that do not have any bad impact in final user, in final in the end consumer.
And the fine brands and manufacturers that make products out of your leather, these are items that you keep for, heirloom items that you keep, I would imagine, for years to come. You're not going to buy an expensive bag or jacket and toss it.
Yes. You mean that if you want to use a good leather, you have to pay more?
Well, maybe you do pay more. I don't know. That's a good question. Certainly for quality product, it's something that you're going to have for a long time. And I would argue that is sustainability in its best form. If I have something that my daughter takes from me and uses, or I'm able to keep for many, many years.
You are talking about durability of leather.
Yeah.
You have something in leather, you can be sure that for many, many years you can use this object. This is important, and this is why we have a long tradition, because leather is something that lasts for a long period. In fact, we are able to find some shoes of 5,000 years ago.
That's sustainability on steroids.
It's important, yes. Yes, it's one of the quality of leathers to have this durability. But of course there is another aspect. People want to change, want to buy always something new. Mm-hmm. And this is a problem. Our brands are producing a lot of bags, shoes. And I am asking myself if this is correct for the world, because even this is a problem.
Right.
But anyway, we have to give people work. It's very difficult to say what is right and what is not right.
Well, for sure, fashion changes. And, shoes wear out, or you may want a new bag, but I find that when I buy quality, I might put it away for a while, and then I rediscover it, a few years later. I may not have used it, but it's certainly there. We touched just briefly on pricing, and, while Italy is known for fine leather, I also happen to know that there's a pretty big variety of pricing.
Yes.
Out there too. Can you talk a little bit about the range of customers that you serve?
A range of different coasts?
Yeah, I mean, from...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to give an answer to this question, because even if a leather is productive in a responsible way with high efficiency, it could cost less or more. It depends on a so large variety of factors that is not possible to give an answer to this. Or I can invent $2 to $200, I don't know. It's difficult to say this.
But you have those options. So I don't need to be intimidated by Italian leather if I'm starting out, and I'm not sure I can afford it. You've got options that will work.
For example, a bag, leather, I think the price of the leather is about 15-20% of the entire cost.
Yes, it could be. Yes, it could be.
Because of course we pay for the design, we pay for the realization of the bag, of the shoes.
Yes, it could be. It could be. But I repeat myself, it could be difficult to give a right answer to this question, because it's not only a question of final price, but what you have to be sure is that if you want to buy a good quality product, you have to pay for it. Let's make an example. Fake leather. Fake leather is absolutely fake. It is not leather, and the production costs are absolutely not comparable to production costs of real leather. And if we compare the sustainability values of fake leather and the real leather, there is no possible to make any comparison. Okay, we have made a lot of research. We have made a lot of evaluation about this value of fake leather. And in any case, fake leather reaches the value of real leather. So the consumer has to know what he's buying, has to know that he's buying something made of fake leather or something made of real leather. And fortunately, in Italy, we have a legislation for that. The way to guarantee end consumer has been started by Italian tanneries. And we hope that this standard will be a standard for the whole world.
Interesting. So we're in New York, we're at the Metropolitan Pavilion. How many people are showing here?
We have 120 companies from 12 countries. 60% are Italian and the other from the other countries. But we don't have only leathers here, but we have even a producer of buckles, soles, and synthetic materials too. We have to accept even alternative materials.
Well, there's some interesting synthetics that are coming up for sure, you know, and it's hard to ignore.
Companies are working a lot on sustainability too. Of course, these products are coming from petrol or plastic, but even in this field there is a lot of research, and these materials are improved a lot in the last years because it is important for all the world to work on sustainability.
So as you walked around the show, what are some of the products that got you excited? I saw a booth that had washable leather. That's pretty cool. What else? Have you seen here that's exciting?
In particular, one finished leather that is certified against a very, very severe standard, which is the standard was called low environmental impact finished leather. And this is a standard that we created more than 10 years ago, and now it is an European standard, and it established very severe limits of the main indicators. They are 17 indicators of environmental performances. And when the producer is able to guarantee to the inspector that he is able to respect all of these 17 indicators, he can put a label on it that is a low environmental impact leather. And we have a company here which is the first tannery that has obtained this certification, and it's a good occasion to give the possibility to the end consumer to touch the real quality of a leather. So when he touches leather, that leather, he touches the real environmental value leather.
That's pretty
That is
amazing.
interesting.
Do you have any favorites?
Many. I love the colors, I love the touch, I love the texture of the leather. It's really an incredible world. You know, many brands have decided to eliminate from their collection the reptiles leathers. And you can find here some companies which use calf or beef, and they print it as a reptile, and you can see they are fantastic.
Yeah, it's a new embossing and new ways to finish.
What is impressing me always are the colors, are the way they invent new colors, new nuance. It's very important for fashion, this work, yes.
So you told me a few minutes ago that you found shoes that are up to 5,000 years old. And I heard a rumor that one of the earliest leather tanneries was discovered in Pompeii.
Yes, of course.
I am dying to hear more about this.
What many years ago, they discovered in Pompeii a tannery, and
And how did they know it was a tannery? What was left?
they discovered immediately that it was a tannery.
Yeah.
Because it is a particular construction, and I can say it was a Roman tannery, but until the 50s in Italy, we have the same kind of tannery.
Oh, wow, okay.
And the researchers think that there is not only a tannery, but there is a complete district in Pompeii. Because at that time, leather was important, you know, for boots, for the, how can you say, arms, for the soldiers.
Yeah.
You didn't use leather for shoes or bags, fashion.
Right.
But it was a
Protection.
material.
Yeah.
And so, of course, this tannery was abandoned. And as an association, we decided to finance the restoration. And I hope in September to be able to organize an event to present this tannery, restored tannery. Should be very pleased to invite you for the occasion.
Amazing, amazing.
It is important for us because men use skin of the animals from times to times. And now with this tannery in Pompeii, we are able to underline our tradition. We came from the past
So-
and we want to go in the future.
I was just going to say, so LINEAPELLE is respecting where the industry came from, but you're directing everyone forward to the next phase.
In fact, we are celebrating in September the 100th edition of LINEAPELLE, and our slogan is "Back to the Future," because we know where we come from, but we also know where we want to go.
Well, we appreciate your hard work. We appreciate your pushing the industry to a place of being better and doing better. You know, I know that I can speak on behalf of our brands that it's super important to all of them, and to have options that are new and exciting and sustainable is very much in key with what our, what customers don't just want here, but all over the world.